Hello there, I'm Christa. This is our very first edition of Coffee Kettlebells.
Hello.
And our unofficial sponsor for Coffee Kettlebells is Starbucks.
Beautiful.
But we are happy to take official sponsors. So I have my dear friend, fellow mompreneur, and lady boss Karen Lenahan with me today.
Hello.
Karen, I go in to see Karen every Wednesday. Wednesday is a very long day. I get up at 4 to coach, and I don't want to cook. And that's okay, because I can do anything, but I can't do everything. And so
Correct.
Wednesdays, I'm a kick-ass coach and a really great mom most of the time, and not a cook. So I go see Karen, and she hooks me up. And we always end up getting in these discussions about sort of the struggles of being a mompreneur and being a lady boss and being a woman in business, and being somebody who is creating constantly. And we always get in these great discussions, and one day we're like, we have to do something with this.
Yeah.
And so we kind of birthed two separate things on our own, and then at the same time, though,
Yeah.
weirdly enough.
Sort of
so
a really organic.
it was very strange and very awesome.
Yes.
And so this is my contribution, because I reach a lot of women in the gym and through blogs, but I figured this is just another avenue that we can reach more women, because being vulnerable and sharing experiences is what connects us.
Yes.
And we really need to band together and join together, and community is super important, especially as a woman, when you can sometimes feel very alone.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to have Karen on our very first episode.
I'm so excited to be here.
So Karen, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay.
Um,
I own Small Kitchen Big Taste, which is a prepared foods and catering company. It's been in business for about 6 years, but I've had a storefront for almost 4. I have always been passionate about food. I've always been passionate about events, that sort of thing. My business grew organically. I started with prepared delivered meals out of a rented kitchen by the hour while I was working full time.
one of your first customers, right?
Yes,
here.
actually, you definitely were. And then it grew. I grew sort of a fan base. I found my location, and it's sort of fast forward to today. It's really been a wild ride.
Mm-hmm.
But sort of my personal background. So I've always been. I majored in women's studies. I've always been very passionate about women and women's issues and connecting with other women. I come from a single mother. I have a wonderful relationship with my dad, but I grew up in a household of women. And I just feel, I'm also a talker.
You don't say.
Connection and communication and community, whether it's over food, whether it's just over coffee, it's just really always been important to me. And so as I started my business and as I was growing my business, being a woman in business in the food industry, which is very not common, it's hard, really hard. And I was incredibly lucky to stumble on people like you and a few other women in business who we while we're doing all very different things, we share very similar feelings and struggles and joys and all of that. And so I have been thinking and sort of brewing this idea of how do we connect, how do we build each other up, how do we provide resources for each other, and inspiration when we're totally depleted and we need some help.
Right. 'Cause that happens a lot. I know
a lot.
There'll be days where I'll come in and she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm uninspired and I have nothing to offer and I can't create anything. And usually it's from when I'm tired and tapped out and sucked dry. And when you're you have to inspire.
Yeah.
Like that's your job, right? As the leader,
Yes.
you have to inspire and create. And so I'm grateful for people like Karen who say, I feel you and I get you and it will come back, and I know it will, but it's nice to hear somebody else say, yes, I'm in. It happens to me too.
And I think it's hard because I just, on one of my Instagram accounts this morning, I posted a little thing that sort of a day in the life of an entrepreneur, and it's like, oh, this is great. Oh my God, this sucks. Oh, I feel good. Oh shit. Oh my God, I'm going bankrupt. Oh my God, my life is great. And literally that can happen in an hour or a day or over the course of a year. And I think we all have those moments, but that's because every day we are creating something new and creating more and evolving and growing and changing. And if you don't do that, you will not survive in business. So you have to, and you want to, but it's hard.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
And unless you do it, it's hard
to
understand it. And so that's why it's so nice to have this group sort of to connect and say, like, I got you and I feel you and you're not alone, because when you feel alone, you just want to give up.
Right.
But when you feel like there's other women out there fighting for the same thing, dealing with the same struggles, and they're being transparent at it, they're not putting themselves together in this perfect picture, which is why I haven't showered in 2 days, because I didn't want to paint this perfect picture for you all. That, you know, like, I didn't want to come up all made up and done up, so here you go. Because that's not, you can't connect to this perfect picture. When you see a picture of perfection online or wherever it is, I don't want to meet that person.
Right.
Like, I feel like, oh, is she going to judge me? Is she going to look down on me?
Right.
That's unattainable.
Yeah.
Perfection is a terrible goal.
Well, and it's also really refreshing to be a part of a community where women build each other up, because I think the media, and you talk about this a lot too, but I think the media and the world pits women against each other. And I think it's even more so, it's not as true as it seems. I feel like if you find a community of women who are like-minded, all they want to do is support each other and build each other up and find ways to be resources and like buy from each other's businesses and oh, I know so-and-so who's going to do this for you and that sort of thing. And
with nothing in return.
With
nothing expected.
With nothing expected. And because when one woman thrives and grows and excels, like everyone does. And so that, I think, is more the reality when you get down to it. But out there in the world, and sometimes even on Instagram and in the news, it doesn't look that way. But I think when you can find the real connections and when you actually just start talking to people and sharing experiences, it's there. And
you just have to make it louder.
Exactly.
Like, make the positivity louder, and make the empowerment and the women supporting women louder than the women cutting other women. Because I was talking to a group of coaches last week about this, how, you know, it's just so easy to tear down, and it comes from a place of insecurity. Right. Because empowered, secure women, they don't tear down other women. No. They want to support and build up. And those are the women I want in my tribe. Like, I purposely wore my tribe shirt today. It's become sort of like a thing. Like, oh, the tribe. But gosh, like, you need a tribe. If you haven't found it, like, keep looking for it and find it, because it will save your life, literally. It will make your life better. And I read this quote, and I posted this quote, and I'm going to butcher it probably right now, but imagine the world we would live in if women loved and celebrated their bodies and supported one another. Yeah. Like, imagine, it would be a beautiful world. Yeah. And that's basically the gist of what this quote said, and it brings tears to my eyes, because we don't live in that world, but I think you and I work hard every day to create a better place. Because, I have 3 daughters. Karen has a daughter. Like, I want a better world for them. Right. I want a better life for them. I don't want them to be at war with their body. I don't want them to think for 1 second that they can't be an entrepreneur. And I didn't think I could ever open a business. I never, up until a few years ago, I never thought I had. And I had an accidental business. Like, I started a boot camp in the park that, like, accidental success, right? Like, it just kept growing and growing and growing, and one day I didn't know what to do with all these women that showed up, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm opening a gym. Buckle up, baby. No idea what this would turn into. This is not in the game plan, but here we are. Ignorance is bliss. So this was sort of an accidental thing, and what got me here was women supporting me, telling other women about this place and saying, you have to go there. And then, we've just grown and had this crazy ride, but I want my daughters to say, like, I can open a business, I can be a police officer, a firewoman, or whatever you want to be, a stay-at-home mom, a teacher. What do you want to do? Right. But own it. The world is your oyster. I know that sounds so cliche, but for women that has not been true, and for a lot of them it's not true still. And it's funny, because so much of what you said is, mine wasn't accidental, but there were a lot of moments along the way where I was so afraid. Yes. Like, I remember sitting at my desk at my office job 8 years ago, and I had 3 clients. I think it was you, Karen, and somebody else. And I started researching, okay, if I'm going to keep getting clients, I can't do it out of my home. And I started looking at the Connecticut Business Development website and all the licensing, and I literally shut my computer off. I was like, holy moly, I can't do this. This is too overwhelming. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. And then slowly but surely, I kept coming back. I have a master's in public administration, and now I'm a chef.
So it just, but there was something inside of me that said like, okay, just focus through it. Like, yeah, I'm afraid. Okay. Just do it anyways, you know? And I think that mentality is something that we need to listen to more. And because that will make us successfour as a group, women as a group. We need to listen to our fear, but we also need to support each other through it and get each other through it. And that shows our daughters and our sons and everyone that like women are goddamn awesome, and we can be,
yes ma'am.
We can be everything that a man can be, and it's not bad to be afraid, it's not bad to be overwhelmed, but you need to find the people and the things that can revive you and support you,
right? Because
otherwise it's hard and it's lonely, it can be, and the overwhelm can be too much.
Yes, I love that saying. I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to do this. That's like the mantra of a small business owner, right? It's like, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to figure it out. Not, I don't know how to do this, I can't do this. It's, I don't know how to do this, I'm gonna do this.
And I honestly think my business has grown more often than not. I mean, a lot of people think I'm crazy because I just say yes.
Right.
Yes, I can do that. And then I think, okay, I'm
gonna learn how to do it.
How am I gonna do the logistics of that? I was just talking to Alex last night about, I had an event this past weekend that went pretty well, and he said, you know, I really thought when you took a catering event on an island, that was a good run, Kara. And I just figured out
and we never saw her again.
Never saw her. Good job with the catering, nice work. But no, you know, I mean, you just have to, you just say yes and figure it out.
Yep.
But you can't do that unless you have people around you who can help you through the days where you're just like, oh man, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, and it's really important to have that network and that tribe, because I read, you know, another mem, but women are supposed to work like they don't have children and parent like they don't have a job.
Yes.
And I think that is sort of the expectation, and one of the reasons why it's especially hard to be a female entrepreneur, and because it's sort of nurturing and caretaking is sort of hardwired into our DNA. Not in every woman, but in a lot of women,
yes.
We want to be the mom that doesn't have a job, right, and the entrepreneur that doesn't have kids. Right. And I think men do a lot better saying like, oh, I'm working today and I don't feel guilt about that. And
right.
We sort of drag in all this baggage about I'm a bad mother because I'm working, and that's taken like years for me to unravel. Like my oldest daughter is 8, and there's so much baggage around, am I doing the right thing? Do I see them enough? I'm working too hard, but then I want them to see me working hard so that they see what hard work looks like, and they see this woman fiercely attacking this goal and this mission that I feel deeply connected to. And
right.
But when I'm with them, I'm also really distracted or I'm really tired. So it's this constant balance. And like, guess what? I have 0 answers. But what I can tell you is it's hard, and we do the best that we can and figure it out along the way. And I think for me, it's been this sort of, I had 1 kid, it looked different. I had 2 kids, it looks different. And you have to figure out what works for you. And,
right.
And then you're gonna fall flat on your face in a pile of tears and maybe whine, and then you'll get back up and say, all right, I gotta do better. Right. And what does this look like to be better? Does it look like to take, does it look like to take a day off or a shift off, or to carve out time where I'm away from my phone, or set a date night, or set dates with my daughters? Like, what does that look like? And then you learn along the way, and then it's going to be really hard to do those things. But it's this constant struggle, and
it is.
I guess what I'm saying is, yes, it's hard, but have your tribe to support you, and know that it's gonna come. It's gonna sort of be this evolution.
Right. And so last week was a crazy week for me. And I have 1 daughter. I have a 3-year-old. And it's definitely something a little bit that I bring on myself. But it's true. You want to be a great mother. You want to be a great business owner. You want to do all of those things fiercely and attack it. And last week I just had one of those weeks where I was working really long hours. I felt guilty and anxious about the time that I was away. I felt guilty and anxious about not doing enough at work and feeling like everything wasn't going to be ready. And I posted on my Instagram for the well that I just had a shit day, and that Emmy was a mess, and that I felt pulled in a million directions, and I was exhausted. And then people commented and commented and commented about how it's hard, and how I was doing a great job, and how it felt I shouldn't be feeling alone. And then on Saturday, the next day, one of my best friends came and dropped cupcakes off at my house and said, "You're amazing," and then left. And then the next day, you texted me in the middle of my day and said, "You got it, keep rocking on." And so that, and we're crying again because we always cry together.
Here we go.
But that, I think in my experience is not everyone's, as I'm a different mother than everybody is. But as a mom and as a business owner, you want to be the best at all times, and you want to do the best for your kids. And caretaking is a full-time 24/7 job. Owning a business is a full-time 24/7 job. So you put those two things together, and it can be really hard to do both well all the time. And that's why when you feel defeated, the only thing that helps is other people who get it, really, and who understand and who know and can look you in the eyes and say, "You're okay. You're going to be okay.
You're gonna make it.
And tomorrow's a new day." And it's an interesting and very particular challenge, I think, that women who are mothers and business owners face. But it also can be really inspiring when you're feeling like total crap, to look at the other women around you who are pulling you back up. And you're like, "Man, I'm so lucky to have these people in my life." So, it's just, it's a wonderful place to be. It's a hard place to be, but I feel so grateful for the unique position that we're in all the time.
It's an exciting time.
Yes.
It's an exciting, scary, awful, really hard time. It's all of the feelings. We always say that, all of the feelings.
All of the feelings.
The joy, the pain, the hurt. It's so there. The feeling of overwhelming, or I'm failing at everything. I think there's at least a couple times a month where I feel like I'm literally failing at everything. Yeah. I'm failing at every job. Oh, God's sakes, am I doing anything right? Yeah. This is a normal feeling. And somebody said to me one day, "Oh my God, you always look like you're having the best day." I don't ever want to give that picture. Yeah. So this is me telling you, there's at least a day a month, maybe more, that I feel like I'm failing at every single job that I do. Yeah. And you can only do the best with what you have. Right. And so I think I want to wrap up our conversation with some of our our self-care techniques. Yes. Because so Coffee and Kettlebells is going to be two things. It's going to be, the coffee represents sort of the thing that keeps you going. And this caffeine is definitely one of them. Friends, network, tribe is another. Yes. And then the kettlebells represents that strength. So we might actually do some things with kettlebells. I might show you how to swing. We're going to talk about self-care. We're going to talk about, I'd love to get some skincare people in here, all different people that are going to help you live a better life. So the kettlebell portion is sort of taking care of your body and your strength, and really honing into your strength. So because this is episode 1, I think it's really important to start at the base, at the bottom. Yeah. So I'd love to give a self-care tip, but also a tip for anyone who's watching who maybe is saying, I just want to be healthier and I want to move more. And I think the easiest thing that you can do is just walk. And we have to start somewhere. Yeah, it's head clearing. Don't bring your phone. Don't bring your headphones, or maybe bring your phone if you live in New Haven, or in New Haven, folks. Maybe bring your phone. But don't listen to music. Don't check your email. Just breathe deep and look at what's around you and start walking. Just start moving. So many times women come in here and they're like, "I've never lifted weight in my life, but I want to do a kettlebell snatch," which is the hardest thing you could do with a kettlebell. Let's just get you squatting and hinging and deadlifting. If you're watching this and you don't know where to start with walking. Find a hill, find a route, grab a friend, put your sneakers on. It costs $0. Get outside and walk, and you'll feel better. Some of the best blogs I write are when I'm in the shower and walking. In the shower. The magic happens in the shower. The best ideas, for sure. Another thing that really helps me is to get up before my kids. As hard as it is to get up earlier, I know that if I get up by 6, sometimes I get up and work, it's just part of the game. Sometimes I'll get up and I'll say, "I'm not gonna work today, I know I have time later, but I'm gonna get up, make myself a coffee, and sit in silence for 15 to 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I'm just a better human that day. Yep. A, because I've had a coffee. Right. B, because I've had a half an hour to myself where nobody needs me. Yep. I think the amount of days that I feel like, I joke with my therapist, my business coach, my life coach, she's kind of my coach on anything, that a lot of days I feel like Harry Potter in that movie where the Dementors are sucking his soul out. Like, that's how I feel. I come home and I'm like, I'm just a shell of a woman. People have sucked my soul out. You know, this job we do dealing with clients, and I have a team of 10 and my 3 kids, like, I feel like everyone's always needing for me and pulling at me. And like, what am I doing for myself?
Right.
You can't pour from an empty glass. And it's easy to say and hard to do.
Yes.
So I have a massage booked for next month. I have my very first ever spa day, a whole day at the spa. I'm not working. I'm going to the spa. It's going to be an amazing day. And these are 2 things that I'm committed to doing for myself. And you know what? I'm not going to let myself feel guilty.
Yeah.
And so that's my self-care. Take time out for yourself, and maybe it can't be a spa day right now. Maybe it can be a half an hour alone with your thoughts and your coffee.
Or reading, or going to bed a half an hour early to read your favorite book, or whatever it is. I think getting up in the morning early, that's been the biggest thing for me. It just gives me such a nice time. Yeah, whether it's 15 minutes or an hour, to just be, and it's important to not feel guilty for the self-care, because you can't, if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So that comes first. It's not selfish, it's self-full.
It's necessity.
Self-love. It's important.
Yeah.
It's a necessity, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for watching.
Have a
We'd
great
love to
day.
hear from you. If there's topics you want us to discuss, things you'd love to hear us talk about, or different strength movements, or something on fitness or nutrition you'd like to hear about, let us know. We would love to hear from you, and we really hope you enjoyed this. Keep rocking.
Bye.
Bye.